Hello and welcome. I am the Restless Kaiser and we are modelling for Advantage. So today we're going to have a look at another WARCRY warband. I say unboxing, obviously this is a packet. This is the last in the series of the Undead expansion sets that we've got to look at. I'm sorry this one's been a little bit late. As you can probably hear in my voice, I've had a little bit of a cold. I think I've just about reached the point where I can speak again like a human. So, quite excited about these. I think there's been some new models recently for this range, and oh well, who doesn't love flesh-eating undead? Come on. So, what do we get inside? As you might expect, we get these cards which indicate all the different models which you can use in a warband for WARCRY. These are in a range of different languages. Really a smart idea on behalf of Games Workshop, because it indicates, I guess, that they only need to make a single packet and they can distribute it across the entire world. So, let's pop these ones over to one side. And then we have the individual fighter cards. We get these two again. So, if you're not familiar with these cards, it's double-sided. And the idea is, if you have multiple copies of the same fighter, you just tuck one of these on and you indicate the status effects on here. This is for a 3 model duplication, and this is for a 6 model one. For forces like this, this might be necessary. So, the Flesh Eater Courts then. We have available to us the Crypt Haunter, the Crypt Flayer, the Crypt Infernal, the Crypt Horror, the Crypt Ghoul, and the Crypt Ghast. All of those names could just skip the word crypt out of them, I guess. These models are actually quite big, and I'm surprised that they're usable in Warband, indicating some quite powerful stuff available to us. So their abilities then. On the double, this is the universal for across the Warband, Feeding Frenzy. A fighter can only use this ability if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them this activation. Remove a number of damage points from this fighter equal to the value of this ability. So you roll a double 5, you can get 5 hit points back by eating somebody you just killed. That's pretty good ability, especially that it's universal. It's going to really pay off, I think. And the other universal, down the bottom here, is the Quad, the Royal Hunt. This fighter makes a bonus move action. They can then make a bonus attack action. In addition, add 1 to the attack's characteristic of that attack action if this fighter is within 1 inch of a visible friendly fighter. So I guess if you keep your minions teamed up with your more powerful beings, you'll be able to take use of this. We have 3 other abilities, and what I'm hoping to do this time, I'm a bit more familiar with how the game works, is we'll reference these as we look at the fighter cards and how they interact with the two, rather than just running them off as a list. So I'll leave that way for you to have a bit of a peek at. So let's start with, ooh gosh, there's some expensive units here. From the top, this is the big bad. This is the Crypt Infernal. We'll get some stills of these at the end of the video for you to look at. So the Crypt Infernal, so this guy here, 300 points. This guy has a move of 10, a toughness of 4, and 40 hit points. 300 points is horrendous. He fights at a range of 1, he has 5 attacks, at strength 4, and does 2/5 damage. This is a really nice looking model, this guy. His abilities, he has this one and this one. So let's have a look at those. On a double, Skewer Wing Strike. Add 1 to the strength characteristic of the next attack action made by this fighter. This activation that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. In addition, if that attack scores a critical hit until the end of the battle round, the target fighter cannot make move actions or disengage actions. That's pretty good. On a double, you get +1 strength if it's a melee attack, i.e. a range of 3 or less. And if you crit, the enemy fighter can't get away. That's nice. Skewer Wing Strike. So I guess the idea is you've speared them. He then, on a triple, Just checking this. Yes, the Bringer of Death. Add the value of this ability to the move characteristic of friendly fighters within 6 inches of this fighter when this fighter uses this ability until the end of the battle round. So on a triple, you give a bonus move value to all the guys around you. And given the fact that this guy is really fast, although many of the sort of basic minions are not, that could be really quite powerful. And then finally, we have the Death Scream. Roll 1 dice for each visible enemy fighter within 8 inches of this fighter. And this guy's on a decent sized base, so that's a 17, 18 inch bubble. That's much of the board if he's near the centre. On a 5, allocate 1 damage point to the fighter being rolled for. On a 6, allocate a number of damage points to the fighter being rolled for equal to the value of this ability. You get a triple 6, you've got an 18 inch bubble thereabouts that's doing 6 damage on the roll of a 6 to each enemy fighter. That's horrific. Really powerful. Really nice card. The other big model then, is the Crypt Flayer. So he shares the abilities except for the Bringer of Death. He has 10 movement again, 4 toughness and 30 hit points at 235 points. He fights at a range of 1 with 4 attacks, strength 4, and does 2 or 4 damage. So this guy is very, very similar for a lot less points, but he doesn't have that ability that buffs all of the units around him. But he still has the others. Pretty good. Okay, so then working our way down pecking order, we have the Crypt Haunter. He moves 6 as toughness 4 and 40 hit points. Again, he's a real monster to defeat. He has a new ability. He has the Bringer of Death ability that we saw before on the Crypt Infernal, but he also has Chosen of the King. This is on a double. The fighter can use his ability only if they are within 6 inches of a visible friendly fighter with the leader rune mark. Well, he's always within 6 inches of himself. I assume that's fine. He has the leader rune mark. Until the end of this fighter's activation, add 2 to the attack's characteristics of attack actions made by this fighter that have a range of 3 or less. So he gets +2 attacks. On top of his basic, he fights at a range of 1, has 5 attacks at strength 4, doing 2 and 5 damage. So he goes up to 6 attacks, and that only requires a double. Really nice. Then the non-leader version of this guy then, I assume. He also has Chosen of the King. He has a move of 6, 30 hit points and a toughness of 4, fights at a range of 1, has 4 attacks, strength 4, doing 2 and 4 damage, 190 points. And you can fill out your warband just with these guys and they'll be really tough. Really, really tough. Going down a peg or two, we have the Crypt Ghast. Oh, sorry, I should have said he has the Chosen of the King rune mark. The Crypt Ghast, no, he has the Bringer of Death rune mark. Some of these rune marks are very similar, so apologies. So the Crypt Ghast at 125 points, going down a bit. 5 movement, 3 toughness, 16 hit points. That feels quite weedy compared to the rest of this warband. He fights at a range of 1, has 4 attacks, strength 3, doing 2 and 4 damage. So this guy's rune mark, he has the Bringer of Death, which was that triple that increases the move of friendly fighters. So he might be useful circumstantially if you're not using somebody else who's got that capability. And then last of all, we have the Crypt Ghoul, which is your cheap infantry model. 5 movement, 3 toughness, 8 hit points. Fights at a range of 1. Has 3 attacks, strength 3, doing 1 and 3 damage. He may be the worst of the 55 point models that we've looked at so far. I have to say, I'm really liking the look of this warband. It's very tough. Very, very tough. These big models, I think, really, really powerful. Interested to see how it plays. Who knows? Maybe we'll get them on the table. We'll have some stills for these cards so you can see them more closely. Thank you for watching.